What the flock? That's right, what the flock is going on in the world. This is a weekly commentary show presented by the Peace Genesis Project, and we'll discuss anything from the battle of the sexes to the history and destiny of earthly humanity. I'm Adrienne Metcalf. I'll be joined by my husband, Josh Schwartzbach, and believe it or not, we'll also be joined by non-physical consciousness we call SOTU, who's outside of time and space. Whether we ruffle your feathers or soothe your soul, we hope you comment, and then next week we'll address some of those comments. Enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Clarabelle.
Oh, he thinks he's funny.
I am funny. Come
March.
on. That's why you're all watching this. Because I am such a clown. Be a clown, be a clown. All the world loves a clown.
We're using a valuable bandwidth here. Hi, folks. It's March 8th, and we're here to talk about what's going on in the world. And we had an interesting reflection come across our plate this week that could, dun, 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 affect everyone this month. So we'd like to talk about it.
I guess I'd better get serious, huh?
You better get serious.
Well, what would you like to know, my dear? I came across a hypnotist who has been working with people for a number of years around having them bring up their higher selves in order to assist them in their dynamics of personal growth. And over the past few months, the results of that have been that there has been a number of her clients who whose higher selves are speaking about an event.
So let me get this straight. A client comes to a hypnotist to work on their personal growth. The hypnotist hypnotizes them and therefore accesses their higher self and then communicates with the higher self.
I believe that's true.
Okay.
And I believe that's the way it works. And in our work and the work that we have done for years, putting people into those suggestive states has been a major portion of the dynamics of our healing. And it's a method, one of the most effective methods to really change well-grounded bad habits.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's what we call it's a way to change the electromagnetic neural pathways actually within your brain. And from what SOTU says, that's a dynamic that it can actually be measured. So
it's with the person's agreement, of course, because they wish to change a pattern they have in their life that doesn't work anymore.
Correct.
But these people's higher selves that are coming through with the hypnotist are doing more than talking about the client's personal growth or habits.
Well, and again, if that's what the hypnotist does, one of the things that she does is she's curious about the future, and so she tries to evoke what she can from people. Now, that in and of itself is somewhat of an agenda, and it is an agenda that would be known by those that are actually being hypnotized, and so therefore it might be a kind of a tape loop that feeds upon itself.
Sure, if there is the belief that the higher self could give people a heads up on their future, and then
Well,
if the information...
And the thing is that I don't know the higher self to be that forthcoming. One of their favorite expressions is, why would we deprive you of the adventure of discovery? And that's so too as well,
But in the case of this hypnotist, and the information that we found intriguing was that many of the higher selves started referring to an event that would happen worldwide very soon.
It would be galaxy-wide, I would believe, that it would, the degree of the energetic change that is being forecast is nothing or no one would ever be the same again afterwards.
So we don't know if we agree with this yet.
Well, and
let's
there's a
tell
number.
people.
But wait a minute. But there's a. Well, I'll get to it. Come on, we're only 4 minutes into it. So, but again, this whole dynamic, I don't know whether I completely agree with it, because in the dynamic of something being observed and something being spoken about, it actually lessens in many ways the likelihood of a dynamic occurring. For example, after I talked to Adrienne about it, it brought up a fair amount of fear. It brought up a fair amount of unknowing, and when you don't know about something, it naturally makes you feel somewhat threatened. Even if it's the most positive experience in the universe, you wonder, well, am I good enough? How am I going to respond to it? How am I going to react to this dynamic? And so, again, energy and everything is in the moment. And so just the slightest change in things can change what the next moment is going to be.
Well, you said something I thought was profound this week, and I'm passing it on, which
That's
is...
only because you're really an easy audience.
that you can feel like you know yourself, know everything. You can have that state of knowing, and it can feel wonderful and deep and eternal. And you said you can know, but you don't know what's going to happen in the next moment.
That's right.
Bingo.
You only know about the moment.
Right. So,
and that just went by.
So are you going to tell us what these higher selves are predicting?
Well, I don't know whether I want to bring up all that fear in people or not, or that whole dynamic of that feeling of, am I good enough? Because what they're talking about is a shift, an energetic shift. And let me just add one thing here. And we're going to bring up SOTU and ask their opinion of the whole dynamic. But let's just say that I also got a second, I don't want to call it validation, because until things happen 3 times, until I see something reflected 3 times, I'm not firmly in the camp of this is absolutely going to happen. But it's come from a second direction now. A psychic that I really trust and who I have followed for quite some time, and whose transmissions, opinions, reflections closely parallel ours. So now that's kind of a second thing. So take this all with a grain of salt, but the dynamic ultimately seems to be that it's going to be earthly humanity is finally going to be moving into that place of 5th dimensional experience. And it's going to come in a wave, an energetic wave, one being an electromagnetic one, and the other being, I don't know how to describe it, it's strictly vibrational. And so the dynamic of resonance and your existence, and does that mean that you're going to have a lot more choices? Does that mean that you're going to suddenly develop telepathy? Boy, wouldn't that bring honesty into the world? Or any number of things that maybe it's just a purging of negativity. But then again, is this not a dynamic of a balance or an understanding of paradox, and therefore an understanding of duality? And so if you have light, do you have to have dark? And, all these questions come to bear, and supposedly everything will be answered after. And I suspect even that, that they be suddenly hit with a gestalt of information worldwide where suddenly everybody is awakened. Our world seems to work more incrementally than that,
Well, let me just say that there was a movie out in the last 5 years or so called The Giver. If any of you have seen it, the very end of that, where the hero breaks through, they broke through a certain dynamic of energy that then brought an awakening to the whole of the society.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm
Well,
just saying that it's not something that you see within the realms of this 3D reality that we exist in now.
so the question comes down to, do we wish all these good things to just happen from outside of us, where certain abilities would be awakened, where certain remembrances of who we are and connectedness would be awakened, and a lot of the
also
BS.
certain of the inner talents that you have, that we have that have been hidden away, will come to the forefront. And that is, they're talking about the fact that you're not going to need food or water because you can manifest it yourself instantly.
Huge changes. So,
but again, this is called the event, and the suggestion is that if it does come, lay down and let it in, because you're not fighting. It's not going to help.
In other words, there's not really a choice.
Right. Well, but that's just there's a choice in whether you're going to fight it, whether you're going to accept it, whether you're going to leave, whether you're going to stay. There's any number of choices, and that everyone has in any given day. So this just may be another opportunity to understand deeper levels. But higher self really never gives us more than we can handle at any one time, so you can have some confidence in knowing that.
And humanity is moving and growing, so
one way or the other.
We'll see whether we're right or not, or whether either of us believes it to be true, but now you get to weigh in on it for yourself. So, let's see what SOTU has to say. Are you willing to leave?
Yeah.
He's so good.
I often wonder why people even want to talk to me. So.
Oh!
Wow! See, we have this prop, which is the clown nose, but we also we neither one of us felt like going shopping this week, so we didn't go out and get the rattle.
But it's
now I was going to get a pacifier, but I realized that that's just going to get in the way. So, but a rattle, that'll work.
Anyway.
So, all right.
I love you.
Yeah,
go away.
Get the hell out of here. All right. Well, so what's the question?
Is this thing going to happen? Is this event going
For
to
some
happen?
people. Some people, some humdrum people. Do you believe that this is the only reality there is?
I have to agree. I tend to.
Do you believe in the possibility of parallel realities?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you believe in the dynamic of time?
Which aspect of it? Yes.
Well, you're in a physical body, and so you experience a dynamic of linear time, but when you're non-physical...
No, it's all happening at once.
It all happens at once. Yes. So, and is not the individual experience of what is all happening at once, is that not what one personally experiences? You're going to have your own personal experience of something on the spring equinox or thereabouts. All right? That's not a prediction. Some of you will experience nothing. And some of you will have the most profound experiences of this lifetime. And some of you won't. So the question ultimately is, what reality are you going to find yourself in? And you, again, don't you have to be in the moment to experience that? So is there anything that we could or should do to prepare you for that? Absolutely not. You're going to be where you are. You're going to have the abilities that you have. You have chosen to face this and to, or not, in the way that you choose to. Can you be better? Our suggestion is that you work on not being so negative, all of you. That you stop being so divided. that you begin to look for your commonality rather than your differences. Simple stuff. That's what we would suggest. That's how one becomes more spiritual. That's how one becomes more open. That's how one becomes more caring, more compassionate, more understanding. All right?
So it's going to be an individual experience of this event or not.
How could it not be?
Anything else.
How could it not be?
I guess there's a part of self that wishes for something that would affect everybody. But it is. It's just doing it differently for each person.
Look at the journey you've been on.
Individuation.
We love you. And so until the next time we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy. We are so sneaky.
Oh, you are. Hi, that was short, sweet, and you'll have to watch it to find out what they said.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're going to present these little snippets once a week now. Hopefully we'll do them on the same day every week, but you know us, and you know me especially. I'm a Pisces, so, sticking with the schedule is difficult at best. All right.
Thank you,
or
Josh.
actually, this week I was told I'm not a Pisces. I'm an Aquarius, but I don't know about carrying water. All right. Love you guys. See you next week.